Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun, named after the Roman god of war. Mars is also known as the Red Planet due to its reddish color.
Mars has two moons, Phobos and Deimos. Both moons were discovered by S.F. Hall in 1877. These moons are known for being the smallest in the solar system. Phobos is about 14 miles in diameter, and Deimos is about 7.5 miles in diameter. Phobos is notoriously known for a large crater on its surface. The crater is 6 miles in diameter. Due to its feature, it has drawn comparison to the Death Star.
Mars gets its reddish color from the iron oxide present on its surface. The surface is abundant in iron, and when exposed to the atmosphere, it oxidizes. The rusty dust gets into the atmosphere and makes the sky appear pinkish, and when in reality, Mars is more of a butterscotch color. Depending on the minerals, other common surface colors include tan, brown, green, and gold.
Mars is a terrestrial planet, which are Earth-like planets. Terrestrial planets are made up of rocks and metals with a hard surface. There are 4 terrestrial planets in the solar system, which are the 4 closest to the Sun: Mars, Mercury, Earth, and Venus. Terrestrial planets have few moons and often have a variety of topological features like mountains, craters, and valleys.
Mars's length of year is about 687 Earth days. The length of day is about 24 hours and 37 minutes. The average temperature on Mars is about negative 81 degrees Fahrenheit. The atmosphere of Mars is about 100 times thinner than Earth's, and it is 95% composed of carbon dioxide. Although the atmosphere is roughly 100 times thinner than Earth's, it is still thick enough to support weather, clouds, and winds. If you weighed 100 pounds on Earth, you would only weigh about 38 pounds on Mars. Imagine a weasel weighed 2 pounds on Earth. On Mars, it would weigh about 0.7 pounds. Hellas Basin is a gigantic impact crater on the surface of Mars that was formed when Mars still had liquid water. The diameter of the crater is over 1,000 miles. The deepest point of the basin is 5 miles below the surrounding highlands. Mars is home to the largest volcano and the most extensive canyon system in the solar system. Valles Marineris is the largest canyon in the solar system. It is over 2,500 miles long and 23,000 feet deep. The exact origin of the canyon is unknown, but it is widely believed that it started as a crack billions of years ago as the planet cooled. To understand the sheer size of the canyon, here it is compared to the United States. The Tharsis region is located in the western hemisphere of Mars and is home to 3 volcanoes. This collection of volcanoes is known as Tharsis Mons and is made up of Ascraeus Mons, Pavonis Mons, and Arcea Mons. To the northwest of these volcanoes lies the largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons.
Olympus Mons is a shield volcano with a diameter of 374 miles and a height of 15 miles. A caldera, which is a large depression found at the top of a volcano that forms following the evacuation of magma. The caldera of Olympus Mons is about 50 miles wide. For comparison, the largest volcano on Earth is Mauna Loa on Hawaii. The volume of Olympus Mons is 100 times larger than Mauna Loa. In fact, the entire chain of the Hawaiian Islands would fit inside Olympus Mons.
As you can see by the photo, Olympus Mons is about the same size as Arizona.
Like Earth, Mars has a north and south pole. It was thought that the Mars polar caps consisted of water ice, just like Earth. However, Mars polar caps contain a mixture of water ice and carbon dioxide ice. It was estimated that both caps contain about 1.6 million cubic kilometers of ice.
It is believed that in the past, Mars was covered with a shallow liquid ocean. Data gathered from newer missions indicate that Mars had an ocean larger than the Atlantic Ocean on its surface. They estimate that this was 4.5 billion years ago.
Evidence from recent missions like MRO indicate that water currently flows on Mars. MRO took a series of photos that show streaks that were formed on hilly terrain. It observed hundreds of streaks running down steep slopes. These observations provide compelling evidence that there is running water on Mars.
Here are some missions that helped find out more about Mars. Mariner 3 and 4 were identical spacecrafts with the purpose of conducting the first flybys of Mars. Between 1963 and 1973, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory created 10 spacecrafts to conduct exploration of the inner solar system. Mariner 3 was launched on November 5, 1964, but failed to reach Mars due to the shrouding casing of the spacecraft not opening properly. 3 weeks later, Mariner 4 was launched. Mariner 4 was successful in reaching Mars and took the first up-close photographs of Mars. Mariner 6 and 7 were the first dual missions to Mars, collecting a combined 201 photos.
Mariner 8 and 9 were the last missions to the Mariner series. Both were designed as orbiters, attempting to become the first orbiters of Mars. Mariner 8 failed during launch, but Mariner 9 was successful. It was successfully launched on May 30th, 1971. It reached Mars on November 14th, 1971. Upon arrival to Mars, a dust storm was blocking the view of the Mars surface. The dust storm lasted for approximately a month, but after it cleared up, Mariner 9 was able to take clear photos of the surface. Mariner 9 gathered valuable information regarding the atmosphere and the surface of Mars. Mariner 9 collected 7,329 photos. Some of the most significant photos were images of Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. Valles Marineris, a canyon system the size of Arizona, and Mars's moons, Phobos and Deimos. While in orbit, Mariner 9 mapped out 85% of the planet.
The Viking missions focused on photographing Mars from orbit and landing on Mars, and investigating its surface. Each spacecraft consisted of two parts, an orbiter and a lander. Viking 1 launched on August 20th, 1975, and arrived in Mars's orbit on July 19th. The lander arrived on Mars on July 20th, 1976. Viking 1 became the first spacecraft to successfully land on Mars. Viking 1 also conducted 3 biology experiments to look for possible signs of life. Results show no clear evidence of microorganisms in the soil. Viking 2 was very similar to Viking 1, conducting the same 3 biology experiments on the surface. However, it landed on a different area of Mars. It landed west of Utopia, the largest crater on Mars. Both Viking missions lasted way longer than expected.
Field where it had landed, directly below the camera. Moving left, we see many more small rocks up to 6 inches in size. Incredibly, Viking 1 had performed a 3-point landing, narrowly missing large boulders which could have destroyed or toppled the fragile spacecraft.
/ 2001 Mars Odyssey launched on April 7th, 2001, and arrived on October 24th of the same year. It is currently still in use. Over the years, the spacecraft has collected a whopping number of 130,000 photos. Today, it continues to send information regarding the geology, mineralogy, and climate of Mars.
Opportunity was a rover that was launched on July 7, 2003 to study the Eagle and Endurance craters on Mars. Phoenix was a lander launched in August of 2007. It landed in the polar region of Mars in search of water. It took samples of ice and soil to find if the site was ever habitable to life.
The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter was an orbiter launched in August of 2005. It was equipped with the most powerful camera ever flown on a planetary exploration mission. It can clearly see objects as small as a plate. It also helps to identify obstacles that are problematic to landers and rovers. It was also equipped with a sounder to find subsurface water and instruments to identify subsurface materials.
Curiosity was a rover launched on November 26, 2011. It arrived at the Gale crater. It is equipped with lasers that vaporizes thin layers from the surface of rocks. It analyzes the rock's composition. It is also equipped with chemical test chambers and instruments to identify organic molecules. The There are current plans to take advantage of Earth and Mars being in ideal positions in their orbits. They plan to launch these missions in 2020. The missions would address key questions about the potential life on Mars. It is intended to study the rock and soil of Mars to understand past habitable conditions. It also seeks signs of ancient microbial life. They also intend to test the ability to extract oxygen from the planet's carbon dioxide atmosphere for future human exploration. With the possibility of sending humans on Mars in the near future, NASA is looking for explorers, farmers, and surveyors to explore the planet with robots. There is still a lot unknown about Mars, therefore there have been various hoaxes over the years regarding aliens on Mars. Mars has been a mainstay in popular culture with various movies and TV shows regarding the Red Planet.
In your face, Neil Armstrong.
Our current knowledge of the planet is just a basic understanding. Eventually, we hope to land humans on Mars to explore and learn more about the planet and come back home safely. Missions like this would probably happen in the next 20 to 30 years. It is unknown what we will discover next on the planet of Mars.